What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to Misplayed Magic, the only Magic the Gathering YouTube channel doing giveaways based on how I draft. You'll see up on the screen if I get 0 wins in this draft, I'm giving away a collector booster pack. All the way down to 7 wins, I'm going to be giving away a draft to one of you all. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment down below. And let's hop into this one and see what we can open here. Starting in pack number 1, looks like our rare is going to be the Corey Steel Cutter. Which is really fun. It's actually shot up in value. I was just looking at the values of the cards. A lot of people playing it in some quicker standard decks. And it looks really fun. Really good in Jeskai, especially with the flurry mechanic of just creating a bunch of monks. So that's definitely a consideration. Our other rare is the Severance Priest, which is fine. I think it's like a C right now. It's definitely a consideration. At uncommon, I do like the Kishless Skimmer quite a bit. The Descendant of Storm is okay, Fleeting Effigy is okay if we're really aggressively slanted. And then at common, I'm not a huge fan of any of these. We're going to try the Corey Steel Cutter. I think it's just a super fun kind of build around. We'll see if we can't do an aggressively slanted Jeskai or maybe even Boros deck here. So if we want to go really aggressive, I do think the Fleeting Effigy is the way to do that. We also could take the Mardu Triland if we wanted to end up playing Mardu. And then if we wanted to take a blue card, Dispel and Exhale, and both Build and Blizzard are both pretty solid. I think we're just going to take the Fleeting Effigy here, though. I think that allows us to use the Corey Steel Cutter and keep casting a spell a turn. So definitely some potential flurrying there. Alright, in this next pack, we've got Overwhelming Surge, which can be a good removal spell in red. We've also got the Storm Shriek Feral in red. We could take Caustic Exhale as a good black removal spell. We also could take the Sipsig Appraiser if we want to move into blue a little bit. Its grading right now is like a B, which is insane for a common, but it's just really a good creature. I think that we're going to start with the Overwhelming Surge, though, just a good removal spell, and then we'll just keep taking red cards. We'll figure out what our second color is probably halfway through this pack or next pack. In this next pack, we could take a Devoted Duelist. I think this card is alright. I don't think it's horrible, but it's not incredible either. It is a decently good enough 2-drop. Fortress Kinguard is also okay. Jeskai Brushmaster has actually not been performing super highly, so I don't think that's where we want to go here. I think we are just going to take a Devoted Duelist. It's not super exciting, but there's nothing in this pack that I'm super excited about that I would want to take over that, and I do think we're playing that often enough to warrant taking it here. We'll continue our kind of aggressively slanted deck. Here we've got a couple options. The Jeskai Monument is good. It can create 2 little birds, and then it also helps with the fixing. Jeskai Devotee is also pretty solid. And then the Windscarred Crag is solid, as well as the Coordinated Maneuver if we're going wide and kind of a faster tempo deck here. I think in terms of our start here, we're going to go with the I think we're most interested in getting the Coordinated Maneuver. It's just a good removal spell. And I think we're going to end up maybe playing a red-white deck. Here we'll take another Fleeting Effigy. I don't think we're going to take a third, but taking 2 feels totally fine to me if we're playing a really aggressively slanted deck, especially with the flurry mechanic. So now it does look like Jeskai is relatively open with the Runescale Stormbrood here. There also are a couple of decently good green removal spells, but I'm more than happy playing a Runescale Stormbrood here that can, ultimately hit really hard as well. Okay, so Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon isn't awful. It allows you to get a dragon and put it into your hand. My only fear is that it's going to kind of hurt our fixing a little bit. So we're going to take the Storm Shriek Pharaoh here as just kind of a smarter play. and just continue taking good red cards. Here we'll take Underfoot Underdogs. I actually like this a lot in aggressively slanted decks. It's just some way to push damage through, especially if we have monk tokens with prowess. We can kind of give the trigger and then prowess them up, which will feel nice. Here we'll take a free Fire Rim form. I always say that card wrong. Decently good combat trick. Now we'll take a Dragonstorm Globe. I don't think we're going to play that. Just if we're really aggressive red deck here. Sitting at 6 creatures, 4 non-creatures so far. Not sure if white's going to be our other color. I think it will be if we're going for that kind of Symboros aggression here. But we'll see. Here we'll take a Poise Practitioner. We'll take another Fire Rim form. I don't know if we're going to end up playing it. Alright, now we've got a bit of a choice here. So Sirach Elusive Hunter is quite strong. I don't know how well we put together a aggressively slanted green-red deck. I'm not really sure that's exactly what it's trying to do here. Frontline Rush is also really good. Just can make some goblins or give a good combat trick. And then we could take the land here if we wanted to. But I think we're just going to take the Frontline Rush here. I do like Sirach a good amount. But I think with our start, we're more interested in the quicker, more aggressive spell here. So Shocking Sharpshooter, that's a tongue twister, is a really solid, aggressively slanted card. I'm not 100% sure that we want to move a different direction in this pack, so I think we're just going to take this here. It allows us to just ping our opponents, and we'll kind of have an eye out for more Mardu-focused mobilized cards as we continue here. Here we're just going to snap the Molten Exhale. I think it's a really good removal spell. I'm more than happy to get that here. So we could take New Way Forward, which is a pretty decent Jeskai card. I do think it is more of a control card than what we're doing. I think what we're doing is just trying to curve out and just kind of stomp our opponents down quickly. And I think that the Channel Dragonfire is going to do a better job of that than the New Way Forward. We could take an Evolving Wilds, but I think we're just going to take the Channel Dragonfire here. Alright, so it does look like white is going to be our second color here. And I do think the Riling Dawnbreaker is pretty solid, the Devoted Duelist is okay, and the Sun Pearl Kirin is also quite solid. I think we've got a lot of 2s. I'm kind of more interested in getting a higher mana creature, especially one that has Mobilize that goes with the Shocking Sharpshooter, so we're going to take the Dragonback Lancer here. Actually, maybe we'll take the Dawnbreaker. I like the Dawnbreaker better. Now we've got our choice between the Mardu land, the Iridescent Tiger, which is pretty good, and then a Lightfoot Technique if we're trying to get a little bit more, some more combat tricks. But I think we're going to go with a Nomad Outpost here. So here I am going to take a Reigning Victor. I think Mardu might be open. I don't know that we necessarily have to be in black to play this card either. So we're just going to take that here. Alright, now we've got... It looks like Jeskai is relatively open. We've got our choice between Mardu, Devotee, Devoted Duelist, and the Jeskai Shrinekeeper. I think we are going to take the Shrinekeeper here as a solid kind of top end. And then here we'll take a Sipsig Appraiser. And we might fall back into kind of that Jeskai quick base here. Here we'll take a Lightfoot Technique. I don't know that we're going to play it. I don't mind an Ice Ridge Serpent at the top of our curve. Here we'll take another Devoted Duelist. Alright, that is a Meringue River Regent. That card is fantastic. One of the best cards in the set. is really, really strong. I think that kind of means we want to be playing blue now for sure. So we are going to be playing Jeskai to some extent. And we'll have to see kind of what that looks like. I think we took a lot of very, very aggressive cards. And I don't even think that this card can't be aggressive. It's just a little bit more expensive. So thinking that we might move into more of a mid-rangey deck than an all-out aggressive deck. Saltwater Pack Beast is also solid. Same with the Furious Forebear. But I think the Moraine River region is just kind of the exact card that we want. And now we'll have to have an eye out for some fixing, because we have not prioritized that at all. We're just going to keep taking bombs. Sage of the Skies is really, really strong. And I think we're going to go 3 colors, and we're going to have to try to just scrap for some fixing here. Molten Exhale is also solid, but I think with Sage of the Skies is just good enough to where we're taking that in a heartbeat. Here we're going to take a Stormplane Detainment, and hopefully we'll pick up some fixing at the end of this pack, or just pray that we draw well. And then I'll probably take out some of the more aggressively slanted spells in our deck as we move a little bit more mid-rangey here. I'm going to take the Mardu Devotee here. I'm not positive we're going to play it, but it's decent enough. Now we will take the Frontier as just some red and blue fixing. We're really, really short on our mana base, but that's fine. It's going to be fine. Now I think we're just going to take another Overwhelming Surge. I think it's a fine removal spell. And occasionally it takes out a Dragonstorm Globe. So I think we're fine with that. I don't think we really want another Mardu Devotee or Stormstreak Feral. So we're just going to take that here. Looks like fixing is not quite on the menu here. We're going to take another Ryland Dawnbreaker. Alright, we have some fixing. We're taking the Swiftwater Cliffs. We're so back. Maybe you can pick up 1 or 2 more sources would be nice. And we do have the Dragonstorm Globe as well now back in the deck. Here I think we're really happy taking a Focus the Mind. Just a really good card draw effect. We'll take a Temur Devotee here. Just for decent enough fixing. I don't think we're going to play it, but we'll take it. It's just not exactly what we're trying to do here. I guess we should take a Riverwheel Sweep. I'm not a huge fan of this card, but it actually is performing pretty solidly. That's just kind of a good tempo card. Take another Serpent here. Alright, so our mana base didn't quite get there, but I think we have enough bombs where we can, if we draw well enough, we can sneak out some wins here. Alright, so here's what we're going with. We're still a little bit aggressively slanted in our early game, should we curve out, and then we also do have a good amount of top end here that can kind of take over at the end of games. With our collection of dragons here. We've got the Dragonstorm Globe, a couple of lands, and the Temur Devotee for fixing. And it's going to be a little bit bumpy, but let's see if we can't get a couple wins here. Alright, jumping into game number 1, our opponent goes first. This is a little bit slower for us, but I do like having the Sipsig Appraiser to possibly go get another land. So we're going to keep it. And we will start by playing our Mountain. Now we've got access to all of our colors, which is good. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Especially the double blue for the River Regent, which is nice. Looks like we're playing against a Jeskai opponent as well. And here I think we're going to flash into 1/1 Goblins. Just build a little bit of a board state here so we can block whatever they're about to put out. We'll see what they do first. Wow, it's a good mill for them. Looks like they're going to play a Ryling Dawnbreaker. I do think we're going to put out some goblins, just to get a bit of a board presence here. They're going to play an Unending Whisper as well. That's fine. Here we are going to just play our Sibsig Appraiser and pass. We don't really want any more lands, so we will more than happily take a Molten Exhale here. Ideally, I don't really want to use the Molten Exhale on the Ice Climber. I think next turn we're going to try and double spell with the Channel Dragonfire and the Focus the Mind, taking out maybe the 2/2 token. Looks like they're milling us now, which is interesting. I think we're okay with that. Now we've got an even better target for the Dragonfire, which we're excited about. So I'm going to start by playing that. And then we're going to play Focus the Mind. We are not attacking this turn. Let's discard a Plains. I'm glad they're milling our lands for us, so we don't have to draw them. Next turn, I do think we are interested in just playing the Jeskai Shrinekeeper. They do have countering mana up. Maybe we wait. No, I'm just going to go for it. What the heck. Alright, so we get at least one connection there, which is nice. And now we've got options next turn. I think our opponent hesitating to attack with the Voice of Victory indicates to us they don't have a combat trick. So we are just going to block like this. I think we're more than happy trading. I think if they had a combat trick, they would have just attacked everywhere and just had a little bit of a better attack there. Let's start by attacking. So I do think we want to counter that. It'll account for our Sage of Skies being the second spell. So we get to connect, get a card, and then also play our Sage of the Skies, which I think is going to feel kind of pretty solid here. Monastery Messenger is their play. Probably will get back the Molten Exhale here. Put it back on top, which is fine. Even if they draw it, they can't cast it. So we'll get a pretty good attack through the sky on our next turn. Perfect. I do think it's worth it for us to take out the Monastery Messengers just so we can kind of attack through this turn. And we can actually get pretty aggressive with our removal here if we want to. So I think this is our worst removal spell. Let's start by doing this. And then we will attack. for 7. And now we're presenting lethal next turn. I'm just going to leave up the Molten Exhale for their turn to see what they do. Still got 13 cards. We'll watch that a little bit, but we'll hold up the Stormplane Detainment as well. Oh, I always forget we can't cast spells during the Voice of Victory's turn. Okay, good to know. Let's start by doing that. And then I think we want to cast this pre-combat to give one of these Sage of the Skies +1/+0. One of these will die to the Osseous Exhale, but that's okay. I would guess it'll be the Shrine Keeper. So I'll take 5. We're still presumably lethal a lot of ways here. Awesome. Looks like game 1 is going to go our way. Alright, jumping into game number 2 now. Looks like we're on the draw, again. But I think we like this decently enough with the Sharpshooter and the Sage of the Skies, so we're going to keep this. We'll play out our tap lane first, like our opponent. So next turn I am going to play out the Sharpshooter. I think I'm okay with the trade here, and then it allows us to turn 3 play the Globe, and then turn 5 we can double spell with the Dawnbreaker and the Sage of the Skies. So that's kind of my logic here. So now we'll just play out the Globe, and I'll make sure I play a Plains next turn so that we can double spell. They have a Rattling Dawnbreaker themselves, which is good. We'll take 3. We'll play a Plains into a Dawnbreaker into a Sage of the Skies. Getting some value with the Sharpshooter here is good. We are a little bit out of action, but I do think that helped our board presence a lot here. There's a chance the last card in their hand is a combat trick or a removal spell. It is not. So we could have blocked there. But now we know. I think we're interested in just clearing the way for our Sage of the Skies. That life gain is just going to help us out a bit here. If they draw a land, they can get rid of it with the Sunset Strike Master, either one of those. And we're definitely going to be seeing a bigger attack on the way back. Not totally sure I get this attack. We'll block. I guess if they have to use a trick, they have to use a trick. We're okay with that. Alright. Now we will just continue attacking. Oh, it's only 3 mana. I thought it was 6 the whole time. That's fine. Yeah, we will take that. Alright, opponent is getting some value here. I do think we're going to play the Focus the Mind now, so if we draw a 2 mana play, we can play it. Like the one we just drew. Next turn we can do some double spelling, which will feel nice, especially if they get aggressive with an attack here. Yeah, I think we're okay just taking this. It is a bunch. So here I think we're most interested in just getting their Bearer of Glory off the battlefield. It just kind of slows them down a little bit. We'll do some damage that way. And then... how aggressively do we want to get with our attacks here? I think we want to just attack with these 3. That makes it to where they can attack us back super easily, and then we're also presenting lethal with the Channel Dragonfire as well. So here I do think we definitely want to block the token. We'll take 3 as it stands. Hopefully they don't have too many effects to get us here. Take 5. Okay. They get lose some life actually. So now this is just lethal. Alright, we get there. That was close. Super, super close. But we get there in game 2 as well. Alright, can we keep the streak alive in game number 3? Opponent going first again. But we have our colors. We have a fleeting effigy, which could be fun. So we're going to keep this. And I do think it's worth it to get a whack in with the effigy. So we're gonna start a little bit aggressively here. I'm just going to try it again. Here I do think we want to play our tapped land so we can play the Sibsig Appraiser next turn and slow down a little bit, but it does feel good to be able to get 4 damage in to start the game. That are an Ice Climber, so our opponent just drew that and played it, I presume. So I'm debating on if we want to play this and then channel Dragonfire the Ice Climber to sort of like finish it off. But that feels a little bit crazy. Let's just play a Sibsig Appraiser. We are looking for not lands here. We will take the Moraine River region. And then now we'll just kind of make that our game plan in terms of just kind of building towards that. So we can play the Globe next turn and kind of get some more access to blue sources. So this is interesting. We could play the Effigy and then play the Sage of the Skies. They're holding up something. They might have drawn a counterspell, or it could just be putting a creature on the top or bottom of our library. I think we have to try and bait it here. So I really don't think it hesitated for a counterspell. I think they have some other effect here. And if they do, we can play out Sage of the Skies, which would feel really strong. They have something. I don't think it's a counterspell. I'll be floored if it is. Alright. Opponent milled the Constrictor Sage, which is pretty good. They also can put this back into our hand, which would kill it. But I think if they're really worried about our Sage of the Skies, then we can kind of come in with other action, which would be kind of help us take over. So it looks like they're going to return it to our hand, which is okay. I think now we're going to start by playing that into an effigy. I think we're more than happy with this trade. And then we'll play a Dragonfire. And then the only reason I don't want to play out the token is because I feel like they're going to get some value back. So I think we're just going to end our turn there. They would basically be able to return to our hand, which doesn't feel great. And depending on what they play here, the River Region could be really good. It's also going to be a 7/8, so can't complain too much. I've not seen somebody play this card yet. It's interesting. Yeah, so I think we are more than happy just playing the River Regent here. We're going to return these permanents to its owner's hand, and then we're going to play the Scorching Dragonfire to take out the Vanguard. I'll attack for 4. Rakshas's Bargain is probably not enough to get it done here. Alright, we get there in game 3 as well. Continuing on to game number 4 here, we go first in this one. It would be dicey, to say the least. I think we have to mulligan it. Okay, this is certainly better. Let's keep this for sure. And I think we actually want to put back the Channel Dragonfire. I actually like the rest of these cards decently enough. And we'll start by playing... We actually might start by playing the tap land. Next turn playing the Sharpshooter, and then the turn after that double spelling. That feels good to me. Just based on the information we have. So we'll play the Sharpshooter first, and then next turn we can play the Steel Cutter followed by the Mardu Devotee. I also think scrying later rather than right off the bat is nice. Marine River Region sure is interesting. Let's do this first. We will do that, and we will swing for 2. I don't think we want a Plains, but we will... Do we want a Duelist? I think we do. I think there's a chance we'll cast this for the Omen cost as well next turn, just depending on what our opponent plays. I do actually think we're going to. There's a chance that the island was close. It was. But I just think this makes a little bit more sense for us next turn. we can play a duelist into the drawing more cards. See if our opponent doesn't get a little bit aggressive here. I think we are okay with blocking this, actually. Worst case, we can make another one next turn. That is good to get the Molten Exhale back. But what are you going to do? Wow, River Region's back already. Okay. So I think we're going to play the... Decision time. Feels so greedy to put away an island. We have the River Regent in hand. I will say both of these cards are pretty good when they're returned to their owner's hands, but we're just going to play out this Stormshriek Pharaoh and kind of try and bait them using Remove Alliant on their turn. So I'd assume they'll use the Molten Exhale here. And then hopefully we can return something to our opponent's hand that is a better return than those two things. We'll take 6. So here I do think we are going to try and take out the Grappler. Looks like it's going to resolve, which is fantastic. And we will swing with these two. I think I'm okay trading with the Kish the Trawlers here. Or they will kill it. They could cast it again if they wanted to. Which they are going to. Okay, here I think we're more than fine just playing the Roiling Dawnbreaker. Trying to stabilize a bit. So we are just going to equip here and attack. I want to play this pretty defensively, actually. I think we're fine with us trading off our Mardu Devotee here. I do think we are going to take out the Kish the Trawlers before our turn. And we will just continue attacking here. And we might as well. Alright, the deck keeps doing its thing. We are 4 wins and kind of tearing through this one. Alright, jumping into game 5, seeing if we can keep this streak alive. We've got a lot of red sources in our hand. We do have 2 red spells. Oh, I guess we have a blue source as well. Okay, let's keep this. Worst case, we can counter something on their turn too. Doesn't feel great, but you know what are you gonna do? Okay, I feel better about this now. So we can counter something, and then we can potentially end up playing Sage of the Skies as well. Let's counter that. And we'll take 2 here. Okay, I'm just going to leave up the Overwhelming Surge here for either this creature or the next one they play. I think we're fine taking 2. In hopes that we can draw 2 more lands and eventually play the Temur Devotee and the Sage of the Skies. Yeah, so I think we're fine taking that out. Now I do think this is pretty aggressive, but we're going to play the Stormplane Detainment here, just so we can minimize our damage taken, and then next turn play the Devotee into the Sage of the Skies. Looks like we slowed them down at least a little bit here. So let's stick to our plan, even though the Jeskai Shrinekeeper would also be good. We can try and use that next turn. Let's go ahead and play that out. Looks like our opponent is probably holding a removal spell. They are the Osseous Exhale. Take 4, we gain 4. Salt Road Pack Beast is good. It will allow them to start attacking. But I think we're fine just playing this out and trying to race here. So I think we're fine just taking 7. So they definitely can put out a formidable attack next turn. But I think we're interested in just continuing the race. We'll spread out the buffs there. And now I think we're fine blocking pretty aggressively if we need to. Alright, the streak continues. Alright, looks like our opponent is going first here. Ultimately, we'll have access to red and white mana. I think that's good enough for us, especially on the draw. Yeah, we can pick off something like a Dragon Sniper here early. I still think we play the tapped land. Like, we're okay taking 1 here. It also allows us to get going with the Steel Cutter as well. Our opponent is ramping nicely. I do think we want to just play the Shocking Sharpshooter first, and then next turn we can double spell with the Steel Cutter and the Channeled Dragonfire. Tursa Light Shatter is quite good. I'm surprised they did not attack with it. New plan, get that off the battlefield. And we'll do our thing next turn. No blocks, okay. So now I think we want to start by playing this. And then I do think we want to just get rid of the Dragon Sniper here. Looks like they're enchanting our Tiny Monk, which I think is okay with us. I'm actually kind of surprised by that choice, because we can still apply the artifact elsewhere. That feels totally fine. Let's start by playing this. And then let's go ahead and discard our Temur Devotee. We do draw another land there, which is good, and we will attack almost everywhere. So now next turn, I don't know. I mean, I think that the Heirloom is really at its best when you have a creature out there. So I don't really feel the need to kill it currently. I think if they had a 5 or 6 mana play, okay, so they get 5 mana back. think we're just going to continue with our plan of attack here. I think that Overwhelming Surge is just a little bit too aggressive for my liking, but I do think us doing this makes some sense to get another monk token. That way we can attack and give it haste. Opponent's down to 5. And then we're kind of keeping up removal for next turn, where we can present a pretty decently sized attack and create another monk token with prowess. Breaching Dragonstorm is our opponent's play. They pulled a Sagu Pummeler, which is not good enough. Alright, we are going to go ahead and take... Oh, this is just nasty. So nasty. All right, we take game 6. We are 6-0 heading into our final game of the draft, hopefully. All right, heading into game number 7 here. Hopefully we can go for the clean sweep. Opponent is going first. I do think we keep this. And I think we're happy just playing a tap land here. I don't necessarily want to trade with the Dragon Sniper, but if we do, it's also okay. So let's start by doing that, and we'll attack. And I think we're more than happy playing out our Mardu Devotee here. Searching for, I think, really just a couple more lands is what we want. I think we're fine putting this in the graveyard, and I guess on curve the Sipsig Appraiser is pretty good. Let's keep it. Stalwart Successor. We are just going to play our Sipsig Appraiser here, hopefully getting land into our hand. I do think we need to be disciplined and take the mountain here. No attacks. We are not interested in blocking here. Looks like I did hang up on their side for a second, so they might have an instant or a sorcery they could have cast. And we will... I do think we're going to start with a plan. Could have countering mana up. Hopefully it's just a removal spell. Worst case, we do get the trigger here, which is nice. And I do think we are interested in attacking everywhere. Quarry Steelcutter is very, very fun. Alright, looks like we'll lose our token soldier here, which I think we're okay with. We'll take 3. I think we just want... We're just going to play out the Riling Dawnbreaker here. We're going to give the +1/+0 to the Devotee. We're going to keep attacking. I think with the River Regent in hand, we're kind of okay with us leaning into the racing aspect of this game, just because we have a really strong tempo play at the top end of our curve if we draw any land here. think we just slam it. If they have the counter, they have the counter. I think they would have cast it by now. Nope, just waiting. Just messing with me. Okay, so here we can take a step back and yeah, we're going to have to be a little bit more conservative with our attacks here, which is okay. Definitely not ideal. So our opponent can not draw more action here. We will... I am going to block like this, which is pretty aggressive. If they have another trick, they have another trick. Okay. So we can slow down at least a little bit here, and then we can actually double spell and get our tempo back. I actually think we might just want to equip here and attack like this, because there's a chance they have something that we really need to take down, and I just think using the fresh start on the devotee would have been a little bit aggressive. I think we're okay with that. Here, I think we're just attacking. Now I will play the Molten Exhale. Oh, maybe I should have thought about doing that in our turn to do a little bit more damage, but I think we're okay where we're at. Alright, we've got our opponent now on a 1-turn clock. Hopefully we can hold. Just no removal spell. If they draw a creature, it's fine. No removal spell. We get there! Let's go! That's awesome. So awesome. So insane. What a ridiculously stupid draft. A quick and brisk 7-0 here on Misplayed Magic. Wow. That was insane. That was insane. That deck was incredible, I guess. We just kept drawing the Meringue River Regent we needed to. The Shrine Keeper was good. And the Quarry Steel Cutter is stupid. Stupid. Oftentimes creating 2, 3, 4 bodies, just helping us kind of take over games and give creatures haste and trample and whatnot. Really a fun draft. Thank y'all for watching. This has been really fun. I'm giving away another draft. This is our 3rd video. I've given away 2 drafts. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give a like to the video. Leave a comment down below. What did you like about this draft? Where would you maybe have played things differently, either in the draft or in the games? And I will reach out to one of you to give you the details. I'll be buying a draft for you on Arena. All I want to do is see the deck you play with, so we can kind of share some love on this on the Magic community. Thank y'all for watching. This has been a quick video, but a fun one.